Let's play. Welcome to 94.3 K News FM, 970, 1140, 1250 K News AM. It is Saturday, September 17th, 9 minutes and change after 2 o'clock. Is my clock right, Charlie, do you think? Okay. So you're going to spend all afternoon with us today. We want to say hi to Bill McCarthy. Hi, Bill. Welcome.
It's wonderful to be here.
Oh, you don't know that.
We'll find out.
Yes. We're going to talk about 2016 Peace Day, global broadcast, my notes say, and unityfoundation.org. Tell us what those things are.
Well, Unity Foundation is a nonprofit organization founded 40 years ago to promote world peace, cooperation, and unity. And we do that through television programming, global broadcasts, media campaigns, and also we work with the Department of Public Information at the UN to present this global broadcast on the International Day of Peace that streams all over the world.
How's that working? 40 years and now we have peace?
Well, you know, it's ongoing. You know?
Oh, I see.
It's a purpose to keep living, you know.
Okay.
Anyway.
When is the Global Day of Peace?
Well, it's September 21st each year, and this is our 8th broadcast, and it'll start on Tuesday, September 20th, 9 a.m. West Coast time, till Wednesday, September 21st, 11:30 p.m., and it can be seen on peacechannel.com.
Peacechannel.com.
It's a YouTube channel, and it's easily accessed, and you will see all kinds of things. You'll see content about the UN, its humanitarian agencies, organizations at the forefront of creating peace, the environment, human rights, social and economic justice. And you may have heard of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals.
Did you say 17?
17, you got it. This is it, babe.
Did I mention my birthday?
Yes.
Oh, Charlie says I did. Okay.
Well, actually, what it is, it's a series of goals that have been signed onto by all the member countries of the UN, which will do things like in the next 15 years is targeted to end abject poverty, to have universal health care, universal education.
Wow.
And actually there is some knowledge that this may work because for the previous 15 years they had a set of goals to do the same thing, and they're halfway there on all these goals. So they've added another 15 years to get to the finish line. And I can't think of anything that the world is better to come together at for these kind of goals because they benefit everyone.
Okay. And to play the devil's advocate, because we do a lot for these causes on this show, we've never had, I think, more than 40 years since they started keeping records with no conflict going on in the world. World peace, I mean, big order.
Well, you know what's interesting though? If you look at the first half of the last century.
The first half of the 20th century.
20th century, right? The two most devastating wars the world had ever seen. We've not had anything remotely like that since that period of time. We have wars, but we don't have world wars. We don't have a situation where 40 million people die. So there is progress being made. Should there be more? Of course. But we don't have a world war. And I think one of the reasons we don't is because of the UN, because even though people don't agree on something, at least they have a platform to discuss things rather than throwing rocks at each other with no place to convene together.
Tell me about your experience in studying the human condition. Do you honestly think mankind can live without being aggressive to his fellow man?
Well, again, I think...
Or fellow woman, excuse me.
That's right.
Led with my gender.
Well, you know, I think it's like this. It's like when you look at things, I mean, for instance, you know, I do meditation. A lot of people probably do yoga or different...
Prayer, and yes.
Right. 40 years ago, nobody even knew what that was. And yet, different forms of meditation are now being proven to have an effect on people in terms of settling their, you know, negative propensities and quieting their mind. And of course, all wars start first where? In the mind of the human being. So, you know, you have to take a long view, I think, in terms of where were we, you know, from Attila the Hun until now, you know, and I think that we've made great progress.
Good. Well, that's why you're here to share all this with us. So, what is the global, it's a global broadcast is what I wrote, right? So, in other words, can be seen all over the world.
Everybody can see it.
And you go to peacechannel.com
right.
for the first time today, folks. How did you get involved in this?
Well, it's one of those interesting things. I mean, throughout my life, I've just had these, I wouldn't call them visions, but you know how sometimes your gut tells you something, that something needs to happen?
Okay, instincts or?
Instinct, and then you just follow it.
Uh-huh.
Well, one day, I woke up and I had this instinct that wouldn't it be wonderful if we could use the media of the world to focus on peace for just one day.
Oh,
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yes.
If radio could do it and television, And so the thought was, well, what's the best way to do that? And it probably would be the internet. Now the thing is, aside from sending emails, I didn't know anything else about the internet. I mean, I could look up websites and stuff, but it's one of those things where basically, you say, okay, I can either just disregard this or I can take the next step. I didn't know what the next step was. I didn't know internet programmers. I didn't know anything like that. But I took the next step, and all of a sudden all these pieces fell together, and ultimately, a year later, the UN contacted us and said, we like what you're doing. Can we stream it live from the UN website? Well, I almost had a heart attack in disbelief, and that's where we are now, 8 years later.
That's great. You need to get a song, Little by Lots.
There you go.
Oh, great song. Bill McCarthy, you read it. What is it? We're going to talk. Okay, the film fest. You have a film. Just say. Joey, I wanted to tell you.
Yes, Joey, I wanted to tell you about the film that we're co-producing. It's actually...
I obviously don't read. If you follow Charlie keeps telling me to read, just jump right in there, Bill.
Okay, so
You're too
anyway,
nice.
and another thing that Unity Foundation is involved in is a film that's going to be the finale film at the LGBTQ Film Festival right here in Palm Springs. And it's on the 25th of September at 7:30. It's called Stonewall the Movement.
Okay, at the Camelot.
Right, and the purpose, this artist, J. Mark Mullion, who was a famous artist in the late 60s, early 70s, gay artist, had a vision that, we have all of these heroes in our community, and they're dying. And what about these young people coming up who don't know the struggle and don't know the history and don't know the sacrifices that were made? So we went about interviewing a lot of these people who started from nowhere and have become very prominent people as an inspiration to the younger generation.
Give me an example of one.
Assemblyman Tom Amiano, who started off, this is a very interesting little story, he started off as just a teacher. And I remember going to the rallies when they had the Briggs Initiative, where they didn't want gay teachers anymore in California. And he was just a teacher. And he got up to speak, and he had tears in his eyes, and he said, I just want to be able to teach, and I may not be able to do that anymore.
Okay.
Jump forward about 10 years, he then is the president of the education department of the city of San Francisco, and then becomes a state assemblyman.
Yes. Okay.
So this is just one of those vignettes that shows you how far we've come, and could be an inspiration to our generation and definitely to future generations who live in an era now where, yes, there's still a struggle, but nowhere near when we were coming up.
Interesting. Yeah, thinking of what you were talking about, Shepherd. Shep. Did your mother call you Shep?
Yeah.
You're Shep. Good puppy. We have heroes that are kind of flashes in the pan while we're watching the Olympics, but we have to remember those values like you're talking about, Bill, after the Olympics are over. How can we help? How can we help celebrate Peace Day and the Unity Foundation?
Well, anybody can celebrate Peace Day, and there's celebrations, small and large, going on all over the world. One of the things I might note is we actually have a peace pole right here in Palm Springs.
In peace.
A peace pole.
P-O-L-E, pole.
Right. And what it is, it's an obelisk, and it's got peace in all kinds of different languages, and it's right over at on the village green.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just this pole is right there, and it's one of thousands all over the world. And actually, we did a ceremony there a couple of years ago where we did a circle around, and then we created a human peace sign, right on that site. So there's all kinds of things people can do. People can find an organization that they're passionate about and really do something to help. It doesn't just need to be peace. It can be the environment, it can be human rights, social justice, helping the poor. I mean, all of these things in the greater element are all parts of what peace really is.
See, I always believed in raising children. If I just did my part and kept my own house in order, and you did that at your house, and you did that at your house, and Helene, she has 3 sons, keep it all in order, then the world would be a better place. I don't need to run your house, or Charlie's, or Jeff's, because I don't like his dog. I like him. But if we just all took care of our own business,
Yeah, makes
the
a
world
big
would be
difference.
so much. And no mother wants war. We all know I have 3 military children, and that's not where I wanted them to
Yeah.
go, but of course they wanted to go. Because there are things worth fighting for.
Yeah.
Yes. And you've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. That is on my wall somewhere. Okay, so tell us again, World Peace Day is,
September 21st.
and
Oh.
just celebrate it some way in your own home, in your own heart, teach your
I
children.
mean, you could celebrate it by meditating for an
Yes.
hour. You know, I mean, it's like creating that energy and realizing that we are all instruments of peace in our own way. If it's raising our children, if it's running a business and being good to our customers, I mean, it's all connected. And if we would just see the connection, simply just see the connection between all of us, we could all just do our little part and the world would be a little bit better.
Amen. Nicely said. The website is unityfoundation.org. If somebody wants to put something in the Desert Date Book, how do they do that? Wake up.
They can email me at Jeff Hawk.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, good stuff. And everybody can go to peacechannel.com and see all the work that you're doing. Very, very nice. When we come back,